The ruffed grouse is an iconic game bird of northern North America, a bird of young hardwood transitional forest, boreal forest, swamp forest, and famously, a bird of young aspen. Grouse hunters are dedicated conservationists, and thoughts of grouse are so often tied to the hunts of late fall and early winter. For many, grouse belong to the falling aspen leaves, cool autumn air, and tea-like aromas of an October wood. But in the spring, the male's drumming courtship display adds layers to the personality of this bird, and while many prairie grouse species, such as the sharp-tailed grouse and greater prairie chicken, display in large communal displays called leks, the ruffed grouse is a lone drummer. To be honest, this whole adventure started by accident. I had noticed a lot of waterfowl passing through on their spring migration, and many ducks had been using the same pond each day. The thoughts of building a quick lay-down blind and photographing ducks along the water's edge at eye level was very tempting. An entire morning of enticing grouse drumming from across that pond, and an equally strong element of failure in my duck photography, sent me packing and across the pond in search of grouse. Look at that. It's chilly. You can see my breath. No wind. Perfect start to the day. 4 a.m. Heading out. Let's see what happens. So at this point, all there really is to do is nap and wait. I've heard 3 ducks splash down in the pond, so I know that I've got company. And there's been a lot of flying. Yesterday there were mallards, wood ducks, ringneck ducks, and buffleheads on this pond. And a lot of times if you pre-scout, the reason the animals are there is because there's something there they want. So it's not just random animals showing up in random places. You're actually picking up on feeding patterns and availability of habitat and food. So as this migration progresses through, that there were birds here yesterday is a pretty good indication that there will be birds here today too. Before it gets too loud around here with the morning chorus, a little experiment. Can this camera pick up the ruffed grouse that's drumming? Birds are piling in. 4 teal, half dozen ringneck ducks. It's only a matter of time. Oh, this could be good. Well, there you have it. Proof that not every good camera blind and not every good setup produces definitive results. My morning in the blind didn't really pan out, but I did hear a ruffed grouse drumming all day long, and I found the drumming log, and you can see there's a couple of things that are kind of the clues that tell me this is the drumming log. First of all is this huge pile of grouse poop down here. You can actually see that this bird has been leaving a treasure trove. So these are all grouse droppings. Within that, there is a grouse feather, and there's a couple things that help you know it's a grouse feather. If you see enough grouse, you just recognize it, but this after feather, you can see there's a secondary plume on there, so it's not one feather, you get a 2-for-1 deal. So right there, that's the after feather or after plume. So this is characteristic of the grouse family. And then right down here, you can also see there's another grouse feather. And you can see just right here a gentle sort of poop bounce area. So this spot right here, and you can see it's very well worn. This is the place where the grouse comes up here and struts and does the drumming. I now have a whole new project. I'm going to start photographing this ruffed grouse on its drumming log. If you look at where the sun is going to rise in the morning, there's this nice tangle right here, and I could just simply set my blind material in there and get the grouse used to it. By next weekend, that bird should be drumming on this log, and I should be able to slip in the dark and get the pictures. We'll see. By the way, with the full sun on it right now, you can see the blind behind me that I'm using to film the grouse. And there it is. What do you think? It's really vegged in, and I've got a number of different tones in it. There's just a small camera portal in the middle. Overall, I laid down the dead branches over the top, just like the tangle of deadwood was before the blind was built. So I basically took away what was here and rebuilt it, pretty much looking like it did. And I hope that was enough to convince and fool the grouse. There's my blind. Found a different log. There's new poop on the old log, but it sounds like he found a new log. Just gotta be patient. So that was really, really good. The grouse drummed a couple times, and I got some great pictures, and then he started to get nervous and he turned away. And I thought it was my fault. I thought maybe I'd done something wrong, but there was a red squirrel, and the red squirrel had run along the log, so the grouse jumped off. The squirrel went down the log. I think the grouse will come back. We'll see. This is so good. This is the first time I've ever photographed a ruffed grouse on a drumming log. And quite frankly, this is the first time I've ever really seen it this well. It was just amazing. I got here about 4:40 in the morning. The bird was drumming at a different log the better part of 45 minutes. And then finally, I kind of curled up and fallen asleep. Napped a little. I got back up on my backside, and I was sitting here, and I dropped my nose down. And all of a sudden he was there drumming. It was like magic. It's like magic. So now I'm just gonna stick tight and see if he comes back again. can't tell from the video, but this morning started out at 23 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm thinking right about now, we're just above freezing. Sitting in this little homemade blind, it's starting to get a little chilly. I'm gonna tough it out for another hour. It's about 9 o'clock in the morning now, and the light's starting to get a little harsh, starting to cast some shadows across the log. It was really golden, but the bird didn't show up during that golden light. Got it when the light was nice and soft and even in the early morning, and we'll call this one a success. So, I'm going to pack up and call it a day. Magical morning, very, very successful, and I'm thrilled. It really is the first time I've ever photographed a ruffed grouse on the drumming log, and the first time I've ever had such an opportunity.